How you doing? This is George with Truck Driver Nation. So what this is going to be, that Truck Driver Nation as a business, what we've done is we've had to deal with a lot of situations when it comes to VoIPs and SMS, MMS, and those different factors. So if you don't know what those are, VoIP is the Voice over Internet Protocol. The MMS, that aspect that we use, that's just for like if we're sending, like drivers are sending driver's license or medical cards or whatever. And then SMS is us just sending an actual text to an individual, prospect. And that being said, you can actually add on different things, which we've learned to do to strategize is to actually add on some video content and we make them in YouTube. And once we make them, then we attach those links after we've, got it set up in our account because we use Truck Driver Nation as one of our YouTube platforms. So when we do that, we take that link, we put it into a text because we're limited by 160 characters in our text. And that kind of sucks because each one of those is considered a segment, and then it charges us for another text. So that being said, we strategized, and I came up with the idea of, look, hey, let me just make a short video on each one of the sections for my initial introductory, so that way you can understand what you're coming to these webinars that we have. And what we discovered, it worked really well. It gave people some good insight before they wasted their time, understood, they could do background research on us, understand who we are, to make sure that we're a legitimate business. And that was great. But we were using Ring Central, and Ring Central, we set up with a TCR. The TCR is the campaign registry, and it took us about 9 months to get set up with the TCR through them. And the deal is, we did Nextiva, and we already had Dialpad, and they were so easy to get signed up for. Problem was they didn't have bulk texting. And when you're doing something, you need bulk texting. Whether you're doing actual real marketing through bulk texting, I'm not really on that platform because I'm in logistics. And on logistics, we just need people that are either freight dispatchers, owner operators, people that want to do truck driver recruiting and stuff to that degree. So that's the reason we have it set up like that. But anyways, we got set up with Ring Central finally, and then all of a sudden, I don't know how many months we've been going. We've been going a pretty good while. Now, we're paying these people almost give or take. I mean, I know there's worse programs to buy, and we're fixing to experience that now with the people that we're swapping over to. But they just completely shut off our SMS capability. Now, when you shut off the SMS capability, yes, you still have the phone line. Yes, you still have the ability to use AI. That when you have a conversation with someone, that they'll give you like a short breakdown after the conversation of what was said to who and whatever, and then give a final kind of note of what was being said in the conversation. And for us, that's great. We'll copy it, put it into our spreadsheet because we engaged them, if that's the scenario. And so we know what was said in the last conversation. But what happened here is also in addition to the webinar. So we're able to send the webinar links out and say, hey, join the webinar at this time. And they just click in. And when I go into the webinar, everybody's already there, ready to go at whatever particular time we set. And that was great. But when you kill the SMS, that knocks out everything. You cannot no longer communicate because through SMS is so much more effective because about 98% of the people actually look at their text message with about 47% of the people roughly responding. When you're talking about email, it's not nearly as effective when it comes to that because um, they're not actually doing anything. Well, I'm gonna try to adjust these background effects, y'all, so that it quits moving around. Give me a second. I'm hoping this helps. Um, with that being said, that really hurt us in that aspect. And so I was totally upset when it came to that. I'm changing some of the profiles because it's for whatever reason, I think it's the auto framing. In fact, that's exactly what it is. So that being said, let me change these back. But as you can see, I'm not a computer genius, but what I am is a business person for sure. But that being said, when they shut off our SMS capability, that totally killed us. Now my business is floating around. Even as I speak to you, I'm literally waiting for the other people to give me a call back from these bulk texting places where I can run my campaigns to assist the people in the logistics community or whether people want to come into logistics. So we're waiting on this to get started up. I said, you know what? TCR, we used Ring Central, and their excuse is Ring Central side is, well, we're not responsible other than, we had to opt out at the bottom where you could opt out. Person that's receiving the message could opt out, but we're not responsible for doing any formal training on how TCR works, what our responsibilities were as a business, And so now they caused us to get red flagged by TCR, and we've been completely shut off. And obviously, Ring Central takes no responsibility for that. And if you look through Reddit and stuff, you're going to see lots of complaints concerning this. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a series of videos. This is going to be understanding the tier level of the organization inside this whole the campaign registry being the source of the immediate content, but how the business that provide communication systems like SMS, VoIP, and all those, which VoIP don't really have no connection. It's mainly the texting part, the MMS and the SMS in particular, where what it's set up for is so people won't spam other people. If they don't need your services, then obviously they can opt out, which actually turns to be in a complaint. They actually mark that as a complaint. Or if that person actually sends in a remark to the particular carrier, we're talking about AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, etc., then that becomes a complaint. And those marks go against you as the person trying to actually make contact with them. And for us, these are actually people. We don't just go find random people to send text out to. These are people where we actually pay an aggregate system to send these leads out. I mean, send these applicants forms out to that. This is what we're looking for if you want to actually be employed. And because we do independent employment, like say for truck driver recruiters, are independent freight dispatchers. And in that mix, we find people that need the training. That's the reason we built the training part, so they could be trained. But that being said, that doesn't matter to this TCR campaign. The way that they're marking down how you're interacting with the system, and then you're supposedly not being compliant, it's all based on these factors that they consider to be spam. Yes, I get it. But the thing is, we shouldn't have to actually go in and relearn our whole life on how we just talk to somebody and then it being factored in. But based on the new world and the new technology, that yes, you got to learn this stuff. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to attempt to give you all this in a very concise, informative nutshell without going on too many rants and be able to present this to you so you understand how it's laid out, the tier level on who's who and what's what in the sequence of actually getting your message all the way to the recipient. And you have to go through about 2, 3 things, depending on which organization or application that you're going to be going through based on how they're set up. And so we're going to explain that. But that being said, that's what this has to do with it. So if you're interested in this, I don't want to waste your time and you watch this whole thing of videos and this is not what you need. But that being said, this will be the first clip. So I appreciate it and I look forward to presenting this to you. And hopefully this helps you out and keeps you out of trouble, keeps your business out of trouble, and helps you understand how and who you need, what you need to do, and who you need to be working with as far as these applications that will provide you the right type of service to keep you out of trouble and obviously getting blocked, losing your SMS capabilities when you're highly dependent on it in the day of virtual business. But anyways, I appreciate your time. Let's move forward.